Viva Las Vegas, baby. The Formula One Grand Prix at Las Vegas is kicking off this... Excuse me? -2 Celsius, 28 degrees Fahrenheit. What the hell? I don't know if we're ready for this. We've never raced in conditions like this. All right, well, we're keep ourselves warm and get ready to let's kick off this podcast. Hello and welcome to the Valve Bounce for this edition in the lead up to the Las Vegas Formula One Grand Prix. I'm Damian. That's not Steve. Steve sends his apologies. It looks like the cold that I was coming or getting better from may have transferred to him. So unfortunately, Steve is down with the flu. So we're hoping he all gets better and he gets well soon. He will join us next time, no doubt. But he did manage to, off his deathbed in the manflu, to give his predictions for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So we'll see that a little later. Coming up, we're going to talk through all the news, the predictions, and some of the stuff that's happening with the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So that brings us to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And I can tell you, we here in Australia, we are excited. Because for once, the timing of the Grand Prix is awesome, amazing. It's so good. Just going to double check, make sure the local time. So I've got the race for us is at 5 p.m, which is perfect time for us to sit down into the evening to watch a Grand Prix. Qualifying's at between 7 and 8 p.m. And the practice sessions that are happening earlier are at like 3:30 in the afternoon and 7 in the evening. So from a timing point of view, it is a perfect opportunity for us in Australia for once to enjoy it at a regular time. Can't talk for the actual local times, which are crazy. Now, as part of the agreement for having a Las Vegas Grand Prix, obviously it's on the strip itself where all the buzz happens normally. They need to be able to manage the traffic of the amount of people that will be in and around Las Vegas. And the problem we have there, the race is 10 p.m. at Las Vegas time, which is a crazy late night race. Even the Singapore, like the other night races that happen, they're never that late. And so this will throw up a major challenge in relation to the timing being so late at night and being in the desert at this time of year in Las Vegas. So as of recording, the weather forecast for the overnight temperatures in Las Vegas, we're looking at Celsius 5 degrees to as low as 2 or perhaps even -2, depending how the forecast actually pans out. Hi, future editing Damian here. So I checked the weather forecast. It said -2. By the time I got the screenshot and I've updated the video, it's -1. So just a correction, -1. Which is somewhere around that 28 degrees Fahrenheit if you're in those parts of the world. So yeah, just a little clarification. Thanks. -2, depending how the forecast actually pans out. So that's going to cause all sorts of havoc for the tyres, the track surface, and just the unknowns already from what, the track evolution, what's going to happen. So they're going to be on reasonably hard tyres, the C3, C4, and C5. So that's really going to throw open to all sorts of chaos at what could actually happen during the race and during some of those practice sessions leading up as they're trying to figure out all the data of what is the tyre condition and life going to be. The nature of the road being icy, how is that going to mean? What sort of safety concerns there might be? It is a massive challenge and it's going to be very interesting, which is probably why I'm actually a little bit more excited to see a brand new track. I can't say initially I was excited about a Vegas Grand Prix because to me it just sort of feels like it's feeding the new, what Steve calls and what we've talked about previously, the drive to survive people. It's all about the celebrities, it's all about the glamour, the ticket prices are outrageously high. So it's really moving away from the traditional sense of what Grand Prix and Formula One racing is all about. But I can't say it's not going to be great for the sport, because if it is successful, it just opens the door, and it really does mean that moving forward, the teams can be more financially successful, the sport itself will be more successful, and we have to be able to endure some of the growing pains that come along with that. So moving to some news that's been happening. GM announced this morning our time, pretty early our time, but overnight for the rest of the world, that they were requesting to join F1 as an engine supplier in combination or with the Andretti team bid. Now, we know there's been some real trouble with the teams and potentially F1 allowing another team in, and there's some good concerns, some like really quality concerns that some teams have, and then there's some out and out greed as to why they wouldn't want another team. But essentially, this is really closing the door on any reason for them not to be successful in getting a new team. The last hurdle is going to be the greed of the top teams, not wanting to lose out on the extra financial money, and the survival of some of the lower teams who are already struggling. Your Haas's, your Williams, they're really vying and pushing to get more sponsorship dollars and to be able to push themselves up the standings orders. And having another team, especially in Andretti, the way he goes about business in all other motorsport realms is really professional and quite successful. So it's a pretty daunting person to come in for some of those lower teams. I'm really excited about the potential opportunity for Andretti's to join. I think it will mix up the grid a lot. It'll really help keep people more competitive, and potentially some of those lower down ranking teams that maybe aren't invested solely and wholly into F1, that potentially they need to either lift their game or, maybe look at other opportunities out. So, we'll see. We'll be watching with bated breath as to how that goes, and we'll be looking forward to, maybe some good news finally for Andretti. In other news, there was financial losses recorded for McLaren, who did their financial reports. Somewhere in the order of a £9 million loss, somewhere around that, which is a better improvement from the year before, which was somewhere in the order of £32 million. A lot of that has been attributed to the departure of Daniel Ricciardo, which has varying reports of between $17 and $21 million that cost them. So you would expect, with the way that they've onboarded new sponsors, the ability to be able to grow the broader McLaren group, which is the F1, the IndyCar, the Extreme E, all of the groups that they're now racing. So I would expect that to turn around by next year for them to be in a great position. But we'll watch that one, and hopefully they can continue their upward trend. In a quick TLDR, so too long didn't read, Haas posted a legal challenge against the results of the American Grand Prix at Austin. They kind of made the mistake of not protesting it before the closure of the weekend, and so therefore the process was for them to provide new and external additional information that the FIA didn't have, to make the claim that people like Sergio Perez and others were out of bounds and should have got time penalties. And so effectively that means that they were submitting a case that just was never going to go anywhere and was subsequently thrown out. So it really did highlight that the FIA seemed to have learnt nothing, or have put nothing into practice since the 2001 debacle with the stewarding. I think that it really shows that the FIA need to take it seriously and work out a solution across the board of how they're going to manage track limits, making sure they've got the cameras pointed in the right direction, which they admitted that they did not have at Austin, and being able to just be an authoritative figure so that the teams and the drivers clearly know what is the rules, where are they breaking them, and what are the penalties, because it's still a bit too wishy-washy for my liking. And I know Steve and I have spoken about this previously, that they really need to get sharper on how they adjudicate it and what is outside the racing track and what is the penalty that is applied there. And with that, I'm going to open up the predictions for this weekend. And I'm going to throw to Steve, who is equally husky in his voice, and he's recorded this for us.
Hello Valve Bounce team, Steve here. Obviously I'm off sick, but this is an audio recording for Damo. So for my predictions for this weekend's Las Vegas Grand Prix, I'm predicting pole position to go to Charles Leclerc. I'm predicting that Sergio Perez will be in second and Lando Norris will come home third. As for the race predictions, I predict that Max Verstappen will come through the pack for a win. I think Lando Norris will take another podium and finish in second, and Charles Leclerc will take the remaining podium position. Hope you're all well, and I look forward to speaking to you guys in the following week. Bye.
Great, nice one, Steve. Pushing it out there with your Leclerc pole and Sergio on second. So kind of backing him in to be fast in the quali, but not in the race. Some of the usual suspects in the in your race result predictions. So for me, I'm going after my atrocious attempt at predictions last time. I'm going to keep it real simple and hopefully, fingers crossed, that I am going to be right. So my pole prediction is Max. I have Lando in second, and Alonso is going to take out third spot. And my race predictions, I'm going to have Max take the win, Lando in second, continuing on his dominance and still being the bridesmaid, but showing that McLaren and himself are really going to take it to Red Bull. And I'm going to slot in Perez because I just think a long straight, really strong DRS, even though it has reduced a little bit, it's come back a bit to the competitors. I feel like he's still going to be quite dominant. So he's going to take third. And with Mercedes really dropping off the cliff, I think that Hamilton's going to give away the second position in the driver's standings. So, yeah, that's my predictions. We look forward to doing our review and wrap up as we come to the second last round of the F1 Championship. And we're excited to see how we go at Las Vegas with all the variables. But until next time, keep well and we'll see you soon. Bye.